All right. I call agenda item number 19, a public hearing on the FY26 budget. It's supposed to start at 9 a.m., but we're now past 9 a.m., so we can go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anyone that wants to? The time is now 9:50. We're opening the public hearing. So anybody want to make a statement on the adoption, the FY26 budget?
Tammy Hullum, taxpayer. My concern with the budget is what I've seen all the increases of. Commissioner Luther, you were on the school board. You understand that there are evaluations done, and it's just not a give me every year of getting a raise, correct?
Correct.
You have to go through evaluations. My concern is a lot of people have not been doing evaluations, yet there have continued to be raises. You call them step increases. Well, step increases are still the same as raises. Cost of living, I am a retired school teacher. I don't think I have cost of living raises. There is a lot of people in Burnet County that do not have a cost of living raise every single year just because they feel they deserve it. I would like for this budget to be looked at. I'd like to see evaluations done. If someone truly is going above and beyond, I know some of you commissioners, you work your tails off. I see you out there. You would probably deserve that raise, but there should be some form of evaluation that is out there that would signify, yes, this is why they're getting the extra money. Because there's some that are sitting there and just reeking in the benefits and not doing a whole lot. So I'd like for that budget to signal that, yes, they deserve it because this is what they've done. This is the evaluation that the citizens of Burnet can actually look at, the citizens of Burnet County can look at and say, yes, they do deserve that. So some type of evaluation does need to be out there written down so that we can see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claire Nybro again. Just for the sake of clarification, the notices about the proposed raises for elected officials, 2.7, and that applies to all the employees, every employee in Burnet County. Is that correct? Who's employed by the county? It's a 2.7 across the board for everybody. Am I right in assuming that?
Is that your public comment?
Well, I'm asking a question about the budget and how much it's taxpayer money we're talking about. So I'm assuming that that's what it is. I'd like some clarification on that. But I guess I'm not going to get an answer to my question. I'm just kind of wondering how much money are we talking about here? If everybody gets a 2.7, and I'm assuming that's based on their salary, their base salary, I'm just kind of wondering if we could have a number associated with how much money taxpayers will be spending for raises again for the umpteenth year in a row. It's been an ongoing thing, and there have been quite significant raises in the last 4 years. So there's not a number, and I can't.
I will say I didn't bring every little detail or scrap of paper, but we've had numerous public hearings where we've published how much the raises were for elected officials, and we've done summary workshops. I don't have all. I'd have a file 10 foot tall to pull everything, but we have published out numerous times what the step increases were, what the
Correct.
So.
Correct. I understand that. So, but I'm just wanting clarification that 2.7 applies for every county employee, of which there are, what, 340?
About.
So, but we don't have a dollar number associated with how much taxpayer money is going to go for salaries and wages in the proposed budget.
We did, and we published that out several times in workshops before today. I don't
Is that
have it
in the
with me
minutes?
right here. So.
Is it in the minutes? That figure? I'm just looking for one figure.
It was in a document that we were actually in this room when we looked at wages, and we had that breakdown on a workshop we had in this room, but I don't have that with me.
And you don't know what date that was, the workshop was?
Not off the top of my head, no ma'am. So.
Okay, so I I wish that there were clarification on that today and that preparations had been made to provide that. Thank you.
Are you looking for just the total number, how much it's gonna cost?
Yes.
Total?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And we have published that.
I think it's $500,000 a month or $500,000 a year. It was $500,000 is what I heard. Patty Cope, Burnet County taxpayer. I'm looking at the 2024 CAFR, and I was trying to do some analysis of the proposed adopted budget, but unfortunately, the document that has been published on the county's website is deficient and defective and does not include preceding year expenses and revenue as required by statute. So I'm going to object to the lack of a complete document. The statute says the county judge shall prepare, county judge assisted by the auditor, shall prepare a budget to cover all proposed expenditures of the county government for the succeeding fiscal year. But it also goes on to state that included in the proposed budget should be actual expenditures for the same or similar purposes that were made for the preceding fiscal year. I believe the preceding fiscal year is FY 2025, and what we have in this budget document is actual from FY 2024 and adopted from FY 2025. And if you look in the minutes, you'll see that there is an actual report of expenses and revenue as of the end of July 2025, which very easily could have been incorporated into the budget document to make it statutorily complete. Additionally, in the CAFR on page 111 and 112, table 15 shows full-time equivalent employees by function. If you look at 2016 and 2017, you'll see that there were 82 general government employees. In 2024, it reports 135. That's an increase of 171%. If you look at public safety, in the same time period, they had 182 and 187 employees in 2016 and 2017. Currently, they have 171 employees. So when the judge said that at one of the recent meetings that you can't keep growing government and that public safety had outrageous new hire levels and outrageous increases and all this stuff, it doesn't really match the data in the CAFR, okay? And I graphed it, and it's pretty shocking when you look at general government in the CAFR. Additionally, in this budget, the 1025 to 926 FY26 column has a tremendous number of estimated expenses that end in zeros. 5,000, 1,000, 5,000, 1,000, 86,000.
Thank you, Ms. Cope. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Mark McDonald, concerned citizen, taxpayer, and a firm believer in the Constitution. There seems to be a certain amount of irony in my humble opinion, and I hesitated for a long time to come up here. If you read our founding documents, if you read the Federalist Papers, if you read the Constitution, if you read the Declaration of Independence, we were warned about growing government. And yet all I see out of this court lately is exactly that. We continue to grow government. We've had opportunities to look at a $4 million premium on health insurance, and it fell on deaf ears, but we'll go out for 3 bids on a $75,000 road grader? Was that what it was? So caution, guys. The taxpayers, you just read the median price of a home in Burnet County. Our teachers don't live here. They can't afford to live here. They can't afford the mortgage, they can't afford the interest, and they sure as hell can't afford the property taxes on the property, and it's almost impossible to keep and secure homeowners insurance anymore. Fires, hailstorms, everything else. I mean, it's just insane. But the court just continues to explode government. We got four attorneys. We got 4, hell, they almost outnumber the court now. What are we doing? consent through apathy doesn't necessarily mean that the people aren't paying attention. Although, if I'm not here, I'm usually watching on YouTube because I have a business to run like the rest of us. We don't have more than 40 people ever on YouTube that I've seen watching the proceedings of the court. Now, I reach out to the court fairly often, and thank you for not correcting Charlie Parker on the $22 million versus $28 million. $7 million, $6 million missing somewhere, because usually you do a statement saying, well, for the record, it's only $22 million. Well, it's not. I mean, I dug through it with the auditor. I went through all of last year's financial statements. I can't get the one-page document yet until this budget is approved, but I suspect it's going to show. So I'm just saying, guys, is anybody in this room feel more safe this week than they felt last week? A lot of things changed. We are no longer September the 9th. We're no longer those people. If you're going to not award the sheriff's department, who I know it says first responder on your truck, Joe Don, but you're not going to show up at my house at 4 o'clock in the morning when somebody's trying to break in. Of course, I won't need you either, but I guarantee you law enforcement is going to take the south end of the county. They're going to take 30 minutes unless they're running traffic at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you spend more money on raises for yourself and the employees, but you don't want to grant the sheriff 4 additional deputies. Count me out on that. They are my first responder. I trust the sheriff and I trust the sheriff's department. I trust you guys too to make better decisions, but you're not doing that. So I remain confused, concerned, but confused. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
So is this where you respond and answer questions, or is this just public comments and you sit there and look at me with eyes that don't see and ears that don't hear? Which is it? You're not going to answer. Okay. Regarding the county budget, over the last several commissioners court meetings, we've seen nothing but confusion and a lot of unanswered questions. One question I have is on 127 East Jackson Street, how many millions of dollars are we going to spend on that? Is that it? Can you show me in the state law where the commissioner's court should be in the real estate business or the real estate improvement business? Like, my numbers here on the, you've said twice on, as public record, $22 million in debt. Is that acceptable debt to all 5 of you? While the taxpayers dollar, the ability to buy things with a dollar, your spending power goes down and down and down because of government spending. You guys give yourselves raises, voted in every year. Good job, right? I don't think so. I think it's either incompetence or corruption. And a lot of these things sure look like corruption to me.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. I'll close the public hearing. The time is now 10:04. Okay. Yeah. You want to take a break?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're going to take about a 10-minute break. The time is now 10:04, and so come back in about 10 minutes. A recess. Call the meeting back to order. The time is now 10:15. Call the meeting back to order. All right, so I call agenda item number 20, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the adoption of the FY26 budget by record vote. So we have before us today a proposed budget for 1 year that we adopted over 2 weeks ago. A spreadsheet in the Commissioner's Court meeting notebook shows that after we put out a call for corrections, that a spreadsheet in the Commissioners Court meeting notebook has 73 proposed corrections. The corrections are by account number, department, and the amounts of the adjustment. We can adopt the last proposed budget that has been posted for the last 2 weeks and 73 lines of corrections identified by the corrections identified, and the corrections, these corrections have been identified by the county judge, the county auditor, elected officials, and county departments. And then if we want to adopt this budget as it is, we can move straight over to the tax rate. Do I have a motion to adopt the FY 25-26 budget for Burnet County, Texas as presented with 73 corrections in the posted meeting agenda?
I object.
You're out of order, sir. Do I have a motion?
I'd move to approve the budget with the proposed changes.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Dockery. Is there a second? Okay, then I'll second the motion. Is there any further discussions?
Yeah, so if we have more changes to make, do we vote on those individually?
What I was proposing on this initial idea was to see if we had the votes to, by record vote, to go ahead and adopt it with these 73 corrections that we talked about and the budget that's been adopted. And then if this fails, then we can come back and go and do whatever. So this is any public comment? Oh, wait, we just had public comment. I'm sorry. That was the public hearing for this agenda item.
So if we have any other changes, we need to vote no, and then we can make changes?
I think that's one way to do it.
Right.
So I'll go ahead and call the motion. All those, Commissioner Luther?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Byerly?
No.
Commissioner Collier?
No.
Commissioner Dockery?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay, so the motion fails. Okay. So we're continuing on into agenda item number 20. The county has been under extreme scrutiny for a couple of years at a tax rate of about 33 cents. It's interesting that the Burnet County School Board at over 80 cents and the city of Burnet at over 60 cents. And I don't know what Marble Falls and Marble Falls ISD are, but they're much higher than this. There's a strangeness to this reality. I like for citizens to be involved, but I'm concerned that how in this little room that such a rancor and attack can take place when there's tax rates much, much higher across the county. So, commissioners, we can go ahead and what I think maybe we ought to do is just go ahead and this budget was for 1 year. It's not the end of the thing. There's been lots of mistakes and lots of other budgets, and we do line item adjustments and budget adjustments all year long. I just want to make sure that if we adopt any increases in this budget that will force us to raise taxes, it will blow out the tax rate. Any salary and fringe or ongoing costs can be paid for by the tax rate will have to pay for those. Otherwise we'll end up raising taxes much higher in the next year.